Well, Slick Vic, today is, what is today? June the 2nd, 2026, and there's been a lot of wrestling in the past week. I'm a little bit exhausted, but the good news is not all of it has been terrible. Some of it has been fantastic, and we're going to talk about it all right here. We got on the docket first, however, some recent news. Damn, I love me some sugar-free A&W.
You saw that, huh? Yeah,
It's good stuff.
if some of your A&W's
I'm
watching,
drinking libations.
If anybody from A&W's watching, sponsorship deal right now.
Yeah. So, recent news. Former WWE star Curtis Axel was arrested, Slick Vic. And if I'll pull up the article right now, we'll find out exactly what was going on with that cat. But former WWE star Curtis Axel has been arrested. Apparently, on May the 17th, charged with third-degree driving while impaired, refusal to submit a chemical test, obstructing the legal process, possessing an open bottle of alcohol inside the vehicle, and failure to stop after an accident involving property damage. He remained in custody for 2 days before being released on May 19th.
2 days.
His mugshot is absolutely hilarious. Yeah.
Oh, man, he looks so sad in that mugshot.
He really does. He looks like he's literally just been caught in the act, and like he's so sorry. But
well,
it's terrible.
where did this take place?
Where did it take place? It doesn't say.
Wasn't he at a certain fast food chain?
On the report that I'm looking at, I don't see where it took place.
He was at McDonald's.
Really?
Yeah, did I lose you? You're frozen again. Oh, you're back. Oh, you're kind of back.
He was at McDonald's?
Yeah, I was just reading that he was like going through a drive-through or something, and let me see. What's a little? Yeah, he drove while intoxicated through a McDonald's drive-through, backed his vehicle into another car, and then was physically combative with law enforcement. Oh, man, I hope he got a double cheeseburger at the end of this, man, or some McNuggets, because man, I love me some McDonald's. Oh man,
hopefully he got a triple. Skip the double. We'll go straight for the triple.
This is not the first time a wrestler got arrested while at a McDonald's, if you can believe that. I don't know if you want to do this now, but just Google Ken Patera McDonald's and read up on it. I don't know if you heard of Ken Patera. He was a wrestler. He was a wrestler from like the 70s and the 80s. Ken Patera McDonald's. He's a actual Olympian too.
Let's see what it says here. All right, yeah, okay. So on April 6, 1984, Patera was denied service after hours at a McDonald's restaurant in Waukesha, Wisconsin. I hope that's how you say that. Prompting the angry wrestler to throw a rock through a window of the building. Patera claims that a former employee threw the rock, but he received the blame. Oh, man.
Yeah.
McDonald's is getting all the smoke from the wrestlers.
And there's also the infamous Wendy's story with Jim Cornette.
Oh yeah, of course, yes.
Burger King is next.
He comes around the car and he's like, "Don't you tell me, you ugly bitch."
He was
Sticks
probably
his whole
hangry.
head through the drive-through window. Oh, yeah. That took place in Hyden, Kentucky, which is about 20 minutes from where I live. I've been to
Oh,
that Dairy Queen several times. It wasn't a Wendy's, it was a Dairy Queen.
oh, yeah. I stand corrected. It was Dairy Queen, not Wendy's. I know he
Yeah.
loves Wendy's. He talks about his love for Wendy's.
Yeah, he used to love Wendy's. Now that they've changed so much, he's not that big a fan of the recent changes.
My favorites My favorite's always been McDonald's. You got a favorite fast food burger joint?
Um, do I have a favorite fast food burger joint? I don't know if I have a favorite overall, but I can definitely rank them if I was going to rank them. And I'm not going to say that McDonald's is bad, but there are other restaurants that I would like. I would rather have Burger King than McDonald's. I would rather have um I'm thinking about what I got local here. I don't know if I'd rather have Wendy's than McDonald's these days, but it's kind of a toss up. Uh, Arby's has burgers now. I ate one that day that we were hungover as shit for the WrestleMania. Remember that for the
Interesting.
WrestleMania review, and I went and ate that burger during the break.
No, man. Actually, I
It
can't
was an
remember.
Arby's burger. Mm.
They closed my local Arby's.
Boo.
There is not a local Arby's to me anymore. There's one Arby's in the next town over. Now I have to go. I have to drive like probably 30 or 45 minutes to get to my next Arby's. I'm not the biggest
That's a
fan of
hell of a
Arby's.
trip just to eat some Arby's.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Arby's fan, so I'm not. I don't. I'm not missing out. My wife loves Arby's though.
So, well, this isn't really wrestling related, but news broke a couple days ago. John Rambo is coming to theaters June the 4th, 2027. Slick Vic, are you a fan of Rambo?
Oh yeah, big time. Well, I should say I'm a big time fan of that first movie, which I think is an all time classic. Some of the sequels are hit or miss, but I thought about a way to tie this back to wrestling, but unfortunately, Sylvester Stallone is not going to be in John Rambo
Wait, what?
because yeah, look it up, man. This is a
This is
prequel.
news to me.
Yeah.
So that's what I had in my mind, actually. I'm like, John Rambo, when he goes back home at the end of Rambo 4, that's what's on the mailbox, so that's his dad's name. But isn't that his name, too?
Yes.
So I couldn't tell, but it kind of gives the indication that maybe it might be about his dad. So this is a prequel.
Yes. Young Rambo. I guess maybe we're going to see him in while he was in the service. Could be. But if this did have Sylvester Stallone, I could have tied it right back to wrestling because if you remember, Sly inducted Hulk Hogan into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's right.
Sly also got Hulk through Rocky 3. Sly made a movie called Paradise Alley, which was about wrestling.
Big fan. He was a big fan.
He was, yeah.
So is he involved at all? Does he own the rights to Rambo?
No, he doesn't. I'm probably the author of the book owns the rights to Rambo.
Yeah.
There was the First Blood was based on a book, so I'm assuming that guy, David Morrell, I believe his name, owns the rights to Rambo.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm looking at the cast right now, and Sylvester Stallone is not listed here. We have
who's listed? Well, obviously he's not going to play a young Rambo. He's old as shit now.
Yeah, but have you watched Stranger Things?
Yeah.
The Hopper, he's going to play Troutman, which I think is a pretty good choice.
Okay.
John Rambo is played by Noah Centineo, if I'm saying that right. Noah Centineo.
Who the hell is that?
Best known for, let's see, To All the Boys I've Loved, The Perfect Date, Black Adam, Sierra Burgess is a loser. I mean, I've heard of Black Adam, but I've not heard of any of the other movies.
I'm looking at the guy right now. He looks like fucking Tony Khan.
Let's see.
So this is our Rambo.
This is our Rambo. Let's see. We'll, yeah.
I don't
May
know how I
9th,
feel about it
1996.
all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's, he's, let's see. Well, he's about 10 years young. He's a 30-year-old Rambo. We'll see. But back to your question. Am I a fan of Rambo? Hell yeah, I'm a fan of Rambo. First Blood is an excellent movie. That ending still gets me, man. It's when Sly opens up to Troutman, it's like nothing is over. Nothing. You just don't turn it off.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Also the scene when Troutman comes in and tries to talk the cops out of chasing him. He's like, the cop's like, you mean to tell me 200 against one man is not enough? If you bring that many men against Rambo, just remember one thing. What? A good supply of body bags.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like the first one was like you said, it's a classic. And I mean, even for its time, I mean, I can imagine for its time, it's aged so well as far as being like you can watch it today just fine. 2 and 3, don't know so much about those. I've watched them, but I can't even remember much about them.
Yeah, I don't think they've aged that well. I mean, there's, I look at 2 as a dumb action movie that I get nostalgic for because that was the first one I saw. There's some good over the top action, just seeing Rambo just kill a whole bunch of people, and
Yeah,
you got the bandolier. That's the movie people think of when they think of Rambo. I think him with the bandolier and the machine gun just mowing down people.
yeah.
Got to run in here.
Oh man.
Anyways, and then I don't really remember much about part 3 other than he's trying to save Troutman who gets captured. And then the very end of that movie, like Rambo's like standing in the middle of a war zone, just him and his machine gun. There's like tanks and a million soldiers, helicopters. He's just fighting them all off with standing in the middle of the war zone with just his assault rifle.
Yeah.
And then there's Rambo. The fourth one's just called Rambo. I'm sorry. Did you have something to say about Rambo 3?
No. Go on. Yeah. I mean, I'd rather get to Rambo because Rambo is probably my favorite of the series.
Rambo's great. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I've seen it a few times, and each time I was like, this is really good. Yeah, no joke. They go to Burma. That's where Rambo's stationed at now, or he's living, I should say.
Yeah. Well, is he living in Burma, or are they just outside of Burma and they have to go to Burma? I don't remember the details exactly. But
you're right. He's not living in Burma because the missionaries want to go to Burma.
Yeah, he's the boatman. He has to take them on a boat.
Yeah, there's the Australian guy who keeps calling him boatman.
Yeah. But the thing I like the most about that one is it's crazy violent. It's over the top, but it's also got a really, really good story. Rambo is in this other country. He doesn't want to be bothered. He's fucking, I don't know what he's doing. He's a snake handler. I don't know what he's just working. He's just living over there. And they come and dig him out of there, and all of a sudden he's like all roided up. He's like, when Shredder turned into Super Shredder. He's Super Rambo. And they take him with them, and then he has to save everybody's ass, and I don't know, man. It was just badass. Plus, I'll tell you the thing that helped. Whenever that movie came out, what year was it? Was it 2007? 2006?
Something like that.
Somewhere around there. Yeah. I was really big into buying DVDs because I was working, and I had my own money to spend, so I was really big into buying DVDs. And I bought that DVD and just watched the shit out of it. So I think that helped a lot. And because I've only seen like 2 and 3 once each. I've only seen the first one maybe twice. And yeah, so I've watched it more I obviously remember more about it. I'm more fond of it, but I can say that I really think that it's a solid ass movie. It's a solid ass guy's movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Real man's movie, that is.
Hmm. And
And then
then
we come
there's
to the fifth.
Rambo: Last Blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. I feel like it's got. They were trying to borrow from Taken, where like he's staying with a family, right? If I'm not mistaken, the daughter gets kidnapped.
hmm
Like, did she go to Mexico? I believe, or something, right? I think she goes to Mexico.
So yeah, I think she goes to Mexico with a friend, and they're at a party or something, and she gets drugged. She gets like roofied and kidnapped
Hmm.
by the cartel, or like sold to the cartel. So he goes down there to find her, and she dies, and he brings her back, and then he loads up and he goes back down there to kick their ass, and he basically like gets them to come after him, and when they come after him, he's got his place booby trapped to the gills, so they all just get
Yeah,
blown up by like mines and stuff. I don't know,
that
man.
was
It didn't
comical. That was yeah. Go ahead. That was comical for me. That when he lures them back to his place and they're all like falling into his traps. It
Yeah,
was straight up home. It was straight up Home Alone.
it was Home Alone. It was a very super violent Home Alone. I mean, it was kind of cool that he had set all that stuff up, but at the same time, it's like, man, this just doesn't feel right. Something's wrong about
No.
this. Uncle
Yeah.
John, really? Like, what the fuck? Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. But
That'll work for me,
John
brother.
Rambo, I was excited until you told me that the news that it's not going to be Stallone. So I don't know.
I think I remember hearing that Sly really wanted to do it and he wanted to use AI to de-age him, but I think the studio just said no.
I mean, even if he was somehow involved, maybe it would be better. I don't know. I'll wait and see on it. You know what? I'm cautiously optimistic, considering it's not going to be Stallone, but it can't be Stallone. Stallone's old as shit. I watched a show not long ago that he's in. I don't remember what it's called, but it's a newer show that he's in. I think it's on like
Oh, like,
Paramount Plus or something. Tulsa King.
is it like Tulsa King? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad show at all. But man, he's old.
Yeah. Well,
So,
Sly will always be the underdog, so don't count him out.
right. Anyway, we'll talk about this next year, I guess, because it's going to be a while before we see this. June 4th, 2027. And other news, Slick Vic. This is wrestling related, very wrestling related. And I thought about kind of moving this to a different part in the show, but fuck it, we'll talk about it right now. It's one of the biggest things going this past week in pro wrestling at large. Mask versus Mask at AAA Noche de los Grandes was a masterpiece of an event. Did you watch it?
I watched the main event.
Yeah, just the main event, Mask versus
Just a
Mask.
minute. Yes, I did. It was excellent.
Yes. I watched it, and, the match was great. And we've talked about it here before, how the El Grande feud is much bigger in Mexico than it is here. I mean, it's a joke here. Last week, even,
Mm-hmm.
when they were doing the 3-on-3, I was like, I don't give a shit about any of these people, because it was literally a bore fest. It's so crazy how it's so different between Raw and AAA. It's crazy how the people of Mexico have taken to the new El Grande so much.
Yeah.
And it got me realizing, like, atmosphere is everything when it comes to this. The crowd, that building was packed out. They were absolutely white hot. They were booing the shit out of Gable. They were cheering the shit out of Kaiser. They had the mariachi bands playing both of them out. Gable's were wearing black. Kaiser's was wearing white. They had the what was it? During the match, one of the Mexican wrestlers sort of a legendary Mexican wrestler down there. I don't remember what their name is. It's like Pimpinella something or other. The one with the red hair, like the
Yeah.
vibrant red hair, is a exotico wrestler in Mexico, which basically means it's like a feminine wrestler. But one of the more well-known ones. Apparently there was an angle where I guess El Grande had attacked him, and then Kaiser had tried to save him and came to his aid and all that stuff. And so he's a friggin' national hero down there. Kaiser is all of a sudden. And this fucking joke of
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Like, I wonder if Kaiser thought this was going to be this was the career path he was going to have. He was going to play. He's a German man playing an American, playing a Mexican. Was he playing? Is he supposed to be playing? Is he supposed to be a Mexican down there, or is he just supposed to be an American pretending to be a Mexican?
no, I think that I think people. I think he's supposed to be an American playing a luchador, or an American who's decided he wanted to become a luchador. But he actually kind of has, because from what I read about this, he not only, took over the character, but like he learned the language, he learned the culture, he learned all about the history of the wrestling there. Like he really invested
Yeah,
himself into the culture. And I think that's what the people respect so much, and that's what you see when you watch like this match. And it was an incredible, incredible match, dude. Incredible match.
yeah,
Best wrestling thing, period, out of everything, out of Raw, SmackDown, Clash in Italy, all of it that's happened this
yes,
past week. That one
yeah,
singular match is fantastic. It's already going in my top 5. It's going. Especially because I only have 4 so far, so it's definitely in the top 5. But yeah, good stuff, man. I don't know if it's going to make me watch AAA on a regular basis, but I'm definitely keeping my eyes open. What's next? They need to get that AAA title off of Dom Mysterio. They need to give it to El Grande while he's white hot. Because that guy,
yep.
when you watch this match, that's another thing that I remember thinking. This is like world champion caliber, like Steve Austin level crowd response to somebody. Put the belt on him. You couldn't bring him into WWE. You couldn't put the world heavyweight belt or the WWE title on him. That would
No,
sink like the Titanic. But yeah, AAA Mega Championship, do it right now. On to other news, Slick Vic. Enzo and Cass are allegedly signing with WWE again.
soft. Was that a good
Uh,
Enzo impression?
yeah. Well, it took me a second. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while since we've seen him.
Man, that tag team was like the hottest tag team in like 2017, weren't they? They had
Mm-hmm.
the whole catchphrase. They had the entrance. It was very much like the New Age Outlaws, where they'd
Yeah.
come out, they'd talk over. There would Enzo would run his mouth. He would introduce him and Cass. What do we say? He's like, "This guy is Cass, and he's 7 feet tall, and you can't teach that."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he's like, "I'm Enzo Amore, and I'm a bona fide G or a bona fide stud, and you can't teach that."
Yeah. Bada
And
boom,
then,
realest man in the room.
"How you doing?"
How you doing?
Yeah,
Good
that shit
stuff,
was
man.
over as hell.
It
Yeah,
was.
that was like they were selling T-shirts, I'm sure, like crazy. And yeah, so they're coming back, huh? Or that's rumored that they're coming back.
Allegedly, it's been heavily rumored. I'm not, I'm the type of person, until I see it happen, I don't believe it. So,
Same, same.
but I've seen it a lot across the internet that they're signing them, which is a good thing. At first, I was like, well, Cass kind of sucks, He was not good on the mic. He's just a big dude. And Enzo is great on the mic, but he's not that great in the ring. He's more of a character than anything. But they've got stock. They've got history. They don't have to do a lot. If they bring them in, if they're signing him, obviously they're going to be in a tag team again, and hopefully it will liven up the tag team division in the WWE. That is the biggest draw that this could have. Because, it's been 10 years or whatever since probably not that long, because I think the last thing that they were doing, maybe Cass had already left. I don't remember, but I remember Enzo being the cruiserweight champion for a while.
Yeah.
And that was it.
That was a very controversial choice because you had all these high-flying cruiserweights who were bouncing around like crazy, and you got Enzo, who's just there,
Yeah.
who's got a mouth on him, and they put the belt on him.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I like that
We'll
cruiserweight title belt, but I liked it. I thought it was cool.
Is that even still a thing?
No, it's not a thing anymore.
There's so many belts I can't keep track.
No, I think it got absorbed into like the NXT UK Championship or something like that. I don't know.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, but the realest guys in the room are apparently coming back. Hopefully it livens up that tag division. But like I've said before, they need one set of tag team titles for the men, not two. That's step one. Bring back who you want. Doesn't matter until it's got to be one set of tag team championships. Bottom line. That's all I got for recent news, Slick Vic. Pretty happening stuff. Pretty happening stuff. Shall we move on?
Let's do it.
SmackDown.
All right. SmackDown coming at you May 29th in Barcelona.
Ooh.
You like that, huh? Anyways. Jade Cargill along with Michin and B-Fab come out. Michin taunts the crowd in Spanish, which I thought was a nice touch. The crowd is strongly against them. Jade says she does whatever she wants. Michin and B-Fab hype up the match while continuing to boo. The crowd is really booing them. The crowd here is great. The crowd in Italy is also fantastic. They really, really help these shows. Rhea Ripley comes out and she starts taunting Jade. She says when it's just the two of them in the ring, she's always winning. Charlotte and Alexa come out, back up Rhea, and Alexa is really over in Barcelona. And they set up a match where Jade Cargill versus Alexa Bliss. Now it's not a one-sided squash, but this is all about making Jade look strong before her match against Rhea. Not a bad match, but but it's pretty much as you'd expect. Jade hits an Ultimate Warrior-esque gorilla press slam, which I thought was kind of cool. And the four of them on the outside all get involved and fight their way to the back. Jade wins the pump kick, and Jaded, post-match, Jade hits Alexa with Jaded onto a chair. All right. Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn are backstage. They're still arguing? Man, Cody says he's got nothing to say. Sami says he wants an apology. Cody yells, "Enough!" Sami says he's still a good guy, which, he's getting cheered in Barcelona, so he's not wrong, I guess. Cody says he can take care of, after he'll take care of Gunther, he'll teach Sami a lesson. And then I'm like, when are they going to pay off this feud? I feel like it's been going on forever, and I'm getting tired of it. Are you still invested in Cody and Sami, or are you kind of hoping they just move on? Or
no, I'm totally done. I'm totally done with Cody and Sami. I've been done with Sami, and I've voiced my opinion about Sami plenty of times before. It remains the same, and it's even worse now, Slick Vic, because they haven't changed his look, they haven't changed his outfit, they haven't changed anything about him. They had him in a stupid gingerbread man storyline that I think will be remembered as one of the worst things ever to happen. And, other than that, what has he done I mean, he's done some heel things, but do you look at him as a heel? I don't. He's not really a prick. He's just sort of selfish. You know what I mean? And that doesn't make you a good heel. You got to be a prick. So, give me prick, Sami Zayn.
Well, moving on, Nick Aldis tells Danhausen to improvise. Miz doesn't want to face Axiom in his home country, and all the while Danhausen's in the background just grabbing stuff and putting him into his lab. Some good haha. And then we got the Miz versus Axiom. Axiom is the home country hero. And I can't remember the last time I saw Axiom in a singles match. Maybe during the U.S. Open Challenge days, I think that was. Well, as expected, he's over in his home country, gets a hero's welcome, and even Lillian Garcia gives him the Spanish intro. This was your run-of-the-mill Miz match. The crowd really helps, though. This is all about a feel-good moment for Axiom, here to show off some of his offense. I was surprised the Miz took a Spanish fly from the top rope. Miz is not known for taking risks. And then there was lights flickering throughout the match, most likely Danhausen mucking about. And then Axiom goes over with a golden ratio. After that, R-Truth has Royce Keys sub for him in his match against the MFTs. Also, R-Truth called him Debo. I don't know if you've ever seen Friday.
Yeah, I love Friday. Smokey!
And then he starts hiding his chain just like Smokey does too.
Yeah.
Anyways,
give me 40 for my birthday. When's your birthday?
Damien.
What is today? Ezel. Ezel was one of the best things in that movie, and he was not in it enough. You know the little crackhead? Okay. Remember the little crackhead guy?
Oh, Ezel. Yeah. Like, Smoke's over here taking his shit.
Yeah. He goes in the grocery store, and he goes, "Oh, I've fallen. I'm suing y'all for $250,000. My neck, my back, my neck, and my back. I'm suing y'all. But we can settle out of court right now for $20. He goes, "Get your ass up."
All right, so Damian Priest and Royce Keys versus Tama Tonga and Tala Tonga. Royce looked pretty good here. He got to show off some of his stuff. Tala Tonga still came off as a beast, but the tag team division is still treated as an afterthought. Solo gets involved, Truth gets involved, but in the end, MFT goes over when Tala chokeslams Damian for the win. All right, so more stuff from The Miz and Danhausen. And Chelsea Green is still pretending her and Tiffany are friends. And then we got Matt Cardona versus Sami Zayn. Sami gets a large babyface reaction here in Spain. I mentioned that earlier when he was doing his promo with Cody. But I couldn't really get into this. I wanted Matt to win for once, but Sami wins with a hell of a kick in a very mediocre match.
Fucking trash.
And then they announced the King and Queen of the Ring are coming back. And then, which means we're getting a lot of Fatal 4-Way matches coming up. Gunther tells Nick Aldis we should have gone to Madrid instead. Trick Williams and Lil Yachty come out for a promo. Trick declares himself for the King of the Ring. Carmelo Hayes comes out and says some nice things about Trick, but still wants the U.S. title. The crowd is split between both men. Ricky Sainz comes out and he also wants the U.S. title. And Trick Williams is great on the mic. I will say that. His charisma reminds me of The Rock. And he pretty much eviscerated both of them on the mic. But Carmelo got some good lines in. But then we got a match. We've got Carmelo Hayes versus Ricky Sainz. So, Melo goes for a frog splash, but gets the knees, which looks like it hurt badly. Melo also took I don't know what this move is called. It's like a Sister Abigail move with like a little bit of a spin that Ricky Sainz does. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
But, I don't know what it's called either, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But Melo took it right on his head. It looked brutal. But the match got pretty exciting at the end with some of the high spots, so it was all right. But the match ends in a double countout. Chelsea Green and Nia Jax have a match. This is Chelsea's first match since her injuries and her health scare. So good to see her back. She looked pretty good. She had a Rough Rider, a zigzag. The match ends when Nia is going for the Annihilator, but Tiffany Stratton hits Nia with the belt while she's distracted, which allows Chelsea to score a pinfall. I think it's obvious that they're both going to eventually team up. I know Tiffy's playing hard to get and all whatnot, but I'm sure it's going to happen. JC Jane declares herself as the Queen of the Ring. Spoiler alert, she's my pick. The main event is a promo between Cody and Gunther. Cody is super over here, and Gunther is pretty much cuts a babyface promo, talks about how he talks about the symbol of the American dream, how he had to leave his country and bust his ass to get where he is. All Cody had to do was make a phone call. And Cody calls Gunther a liar, says he wants everything Cody has, and if he didn't, he'd be working as a 330-pound version of himself at an indie show. Cody says the WWE is addictive, but Gunther is just not that good to carry it. Gunther promises to choke out Cody at Clash in Italy and walks off to end the show. That is SmackDown. Any thoughts on any of it?
Well, so JC Jane's your pick to win the Queen of the Ring.
Yeah.
Okay. The ending segment, we'll talk about that. Because SmackDown was, look, why did Sami Zayn go over in that match? This is completely backwards. I don't agree with that at all. Yeah, Chelsea Green gets the win, but it's a questionable thing, and I don't know, I wasn't too big on that either. So, the main event, which is two people talking, which seems to be the thing these days, I hated how Gunther just stood there looking so pissed the entire time. Like, not even pissed, just like looking like his feelings were being hurt the entire time that Cody was talking to him. Because Gunther can talk. He can talk. He can cut a promo on somebody. And I didn't like it. I'll be honest with you. I didn't like it. SmackDown as a whole was okay. It was just sort of like, oh, this is cool. Oh, that sucks. Oh, this is kind of cool. Well, that sucks. Oh, this, it was up and down. Up and down all night long was SmackDown. That's my thoughts, Slick Vic.
Okay. Would you like to move on to Clash in Italy, or should we pause?
Let's take a pause for the cause. Is everything still going good here? Is the
no issues on my end?
All right, cool. Well, we'll take a pause for the cause. I'm going to refuel. We'll come back with some Clash in Italy review 2026. Then we got Raw after that. We're going to take a look at the King and Queen of the Ring brackets thus far. And, of course, we're bringing back some This Week in Wrestling history to round everything up. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Cheers, genitals. We're back from that pause for the cause. And we're going to be talking about some Clash in Italy. The first PLE ever in the country of Italy this past Sunday. And it wasn't too bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't too bad either. So, we're going to talk about it. They were in Turin, or Torino, Italy, as the locals call it. And I don't remember how close they said that was to whatever, but they showed the map, and I know it's in the northern part of Italy, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, this was a 5-match card. We had the undisputed WWE title on the line, the WWE Women's title on the line, the Women's Intercontinental title on the line, the World Heavyweight title, and then the Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar rematch from WrestleMania that still doesn't make sense. We're going to talk about it all here and now, starting with the undisputed WWE Championship match, which was the first match on the card. This was Cody Rhodes, the champion, taking on Gunther. Now, this match, I'm going to go ahead and say, was probably the most disappointing match of the entire night. Because of the fact that you have Gunther, who always puts on a great match, Cody, who always puts on a great match. This is for the title. Regardless of the fact that the build-up was kind of ass, you still got these two in a title match. I don't know how long the match went. Maybe that was the problem. Maybe they weren't given enough time. I'm not sure. But it's surprising to me that it wasn't It just wasn't that great. So let's look what happened. Match starts. Gunther wins a test of strength and lands several big chops on Cody. Gunther keeps the offense for quite a while. Cody, he keeps trying to come back, but he'd get a shot in, one or two shots. Gunther knock him back down. So Gunther keeps him from mounting any kind of meaningful offense for most of the first part of the match until eventually Cody hits a power slam and gets in some dusty jabs. I wrote dusty jabs. That's the old, the jabs and then the roll up and then the elbow. Gets some dusty jabs in and a pedigree, but only gets the 2 count. Gunther avoids a top rope attack and hits a dinosaur drop kick and a power bomb. Only gets the 2 count. Gunther comes off the top rope, but Cody gets his knees up and then hits a disaster kick and a crossroads. Only gets a 2 count. At this point, I'm like, fuck, this match sucks. It already sucks. Cody goes for a top rope Cody cutter, or I guess you'd call that a super Cody cutter, but Gunther catches him in the sleeper hold. Cody breaks it by standing up and falling back, slamming Gunther down into the mat, but Gunther immediately goes back to the sleeper hold. Cody gets to the rope to break the hold. They trade chops in the middle of the ring, then clotheslines. We get some more back and forth until Cody hits a Cody cutter, a clothesline, and a crossroads for the win. And that was it. Post-match, Gunther argues the result as his foot was under the bottom rope, but the ref didn't see it while making the count. Now, that is legally supposed to break a count. If you've got your foot on or under the rope, it breaks the count because the rule is that the pinfall has to happen within the ropes. That's the square that you have to make the pinfall in. If any body part is outside of it, it doesn't count. So Gunther's got a point here, and we would see a little bit later on the post-show that Cody says Gunther can have a rematch anytime. I'm sure that's going to happen. We'll see down the road. But this match sucked, Slick Vic. And as far as gigawatts go, I gave it 3. And I feel like I was being generous at that. Build got a 0.5 because there was build, but the build sucked. Quality got a 1 because what quality we got out of the match was decent, but it was just very short. And it didn't make sense. It just wasn't a good match to watch, in my opinion. I don't know. Memorable moments, big goose egg there, 0. A big gobbledygooker egg, if you will. Emotion got a 0.5. Result got a 1. Because, honestly, I think the way that they did I would have rather saw Gunther win this one, and I think that I was kind of expecting Gunther to win this one. But at the same time, the way that he lost, the way that Cody won, rather, with Gunther's foot being under the bottom rope, that's okay. So I give it a 1. Total, 3 gigawatts. Slick Vic, your thoughts and your pick for this match.
Well, I remember their previous match at King of the Ring being a lot better. And speaking of which, good callback to when Cody reversed the sleeper to the pinning combination, but Gunther kicked out this time. I liked Cody busting out the pedigree, which was a surprise. The ending was surprising, and it felt abrupt. I would have thought these guys would have been closer to the 20-minute mark. I think they just went over 10 minutes. But I ain't mad about it. Overall, I thought it was an okay match. I wrote down it felt like a Raw main event more than a pay-per-view title match. But obviously there'll be a rematch down the line. So I thought it was okay. Not great or anything, but nothing to write home about.
Right.
As for my pick, well, it's a good thing we're starting with this one. Because I it's all uphill from here, baby. But yeah.
That's true.
I chose Gunther.
Fucking bullshit.
Tisk. You know what? You know what we forgot to do when we were talking about Curtis Axel at the top of the show? You know who he is the son of? A very specific type of athlete, a very
Yeah.
Mr. Someone.
Mr. Yeah. You know what? I forgot about that because he's such a loser
Man.
compared to his dad that it went right it went right over the top of my head. No, I mean Curtis Axel wasn't too bad in the ring, but I mean, let's be honest here. He's not perfect.
There's
Or they
only
would have called
one
him
Mr.
Curtis Perfect.
Perfect.
There's only one Mr. Perfect, and there's only one sound effect that I'm looking for, and I think here it is. All right, we can't listen to that too much because we know that, well, you were
All
not
right,
perfect
well,
here tonight, Slick Vic. But going forward from here, you definitely were. And up next is the WWE Women's Championship. Bring it to us, Slick Vic.
for the WWE Women's Championship, we have Rhea Ripley defending against Jade Cargill. Now, I think I said this about the WrestleMania match, but this might be the best Jade Cargill match in her run here. Rhea knows how to get the best out of her. Jade getting cocky by doing the push-ups and then getting slapped by Rhea for it was great. And once they got past the first third of the match, where Jade was in control, and then they started trading counter after counter and power move after power move, I thought it started to get good. I would not have had as many rope break spots right after the last match, which ended with a controversial rope finish.
Good point.
But I did find this match engaging. Overall, a decent match. And again, props to Rhea for bringing out the best out of her opponent. These two really do work good together. What say you, Mr. Mosley?
Well, I thought it was okay. I probably didn't like it as much as you did, Slick Vic, but you know, I will agree with you. It was a good Jade Cargill match, and I believe you did say that about the WrestleMania match, that that was probably the best Jade Cargill match that I've seen. And you got to give props where props are due. I think a lot of that is on Rhea. I think Rhea probably set this up so that Jade would shine, and good on her. As far as the gigawatts go, Slick Vic, I give this 4.5. Build got a 1, quality 1.5. Again, good work in the ring. Not flawless, not perfect, but good. Memorable moment 0. I could have given it a memorable moment for that slap when she's doing the push-ups, like you mentioned, because that is memorable, but I didn't, because I'm not sure 3-4 weeks from now that I'll recall that. Emotion 0, result 2. 4.5 gigawatts. Great Scott. Slick Vic, what was your pick for this match?
I chose Mommy to come out on top.
Mommy is always on top. Well, up next, we've got the rematch that everybody has been waiting for. Brock Lesnar versus Obafemi. So Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania apparently retired. He got routed by Obafemi in very quick fashion and called it a day. And since then, we hadn't seen anything out of Brock for a few weeks. Oba tried to do the Obafemi Open Challenge, and he got through, 2 weeks of it, and then the third week, Brock jumps him from behind, and it's like Brock's supposed to be retired, but here's a contract for a match, a Clash in Italy. Brock cut a promo last week that looked great, but it still didn't make any fucking sense as to why he's supposedly retired, but he's wrestling. And we don't learn anything further from here. I honestly think that they just kind of fucked up somewhere along the lines, and they don't know how to get out of it. But anyway, let's talk about the match, because it was a quick one. But for what it was pretty good. So Lesnar got the jump on Oba as he's taking his necklace off. And then he drops him with not one, not two, not three, but 4 F5s. Remember, when he jumped him from behind on Raw, he proceeded to hit him with 4 F5s, and Oba didn't get up after that. So maybe 4 is the magic number here. Lesnar goes for the pin, but Oba kicks out at 2. All right. First of all, this kind of sucked. Like, come on. It's the F5. It's Brock Lesnar. I know it's Obafemi. But my God. Just, why didn't he suplex him 4 times and then give him a, you know what I'm saying? Like, he absolutely killed his own finisher here by doing this. Lesnar then got the Kimura lock on, but Femi breaks it by running Lesnar into the turnbuckles. Lesnar hits a 5th F5 and Femi kicks it 2 again. Femi hits a choke slam. Lesnar kicks it 2. Femi clotheslines Lesnar over the top rope. Both of them tumble to the outside. Lesnar whips Femi into the post, then tries for the Kimura again, but Femi runs him into the post to break it. Lesnar then hits a 6th F5, this time through the announce table, then gets back in the ring as the ref starts to count them out. The ref gets to about 8, and Femi just, pulls a Undertaker and stands straight up and just walks into the ring. Then he delivers several running uppercuts to Lesnar in the corner. Femi goes for the fall from grace, but when he hoists him up, Lesnar jumps out of it, picks Femi up, hits him with a 7th and final F5 to pick up the 3 count fall. Your winner, Brock Lesnar, in this match. Slick Vic, like I said, this match was better than their WrestleMania match, I thought, because both of them got a pretty good amount of offense in rather than it just being one guy routing the other guy. So even though WrestleMania was a bigger moment, that bigger moment is now questionable because of the fact that Brock didn't stay retired. And, I think this was better overall, but I think that it went a long way. What did I give that Brock Lesnar match for WrestleMania? Was it a 7? I think I gave that match a 7 at WrestleMania.
Let's see. Yep, you gave it a 7.
Okay, I gave it a 7. Again, high impact, high velocity, over in no time, 2 mammoths going at each other. I think that this, like I said, this was probably a better match quality-wise, or at least as far as the scales go of how even and odd it was. I did like the fact that it took 7 F5s to put Oba away, but, maybe that puts him over for some people. I think it shits on the F5 more than anything. I gave this one a 6. Build got a 1. And again, maybe I gave some of the stats for the WrestleMania match more than the others here, but Build got a 1, quality 1.5, memorable moments got a 1, emotion got a half, result got a 2. Because, knowing what we know now, they're probably going to have a third match at some point. Tiebreaker. So, being that was the result, being that Brock Lesnar won, the right person won. It couldn't have, if Oba would have won this, I don't know, it would have been bad. Slick Vic, who'd you have to win this one? I got a run in.
Yeah, someone's coming for your belt. It's cashing in.
I'm going to hit him with a Stone Cold Stunner.
Well, my choice for this match was Brock Lesnar.
All right. That seems to get higher and higher pitched every time. But yeah, awesome. Okay, Brock Lesnar won. Slick Vic picked the correct result there. Good job, Slick Vic. Up next was the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Becky Lynch, the champion, taking on Sol Ruca. So Sol Ruca, we've talked about this on previous episodes. Super impressive when she was in NXT. Comes up to the main roster and for some reason just doesn't You said it was probably nerves. That's probably what it was. But she's there's hiccups here and there. She's missing things, and I thought that was going to cost her a little bit. Apparently not. They're still going through with this because Sol Ruka pulled out the win here, and I think deservingly so. I'm glad that she won because Sol Ruka is what I imagine a female women's Intercontinental Champion should be. Not Becky Lynch, not somebody who's a former multi-time world champion who's been there forever. And I get it. They're trying to build the stock of the IC women's title up by having Becky hold the title. But all of the shine has been on the Intercontinental Championship for the better part of the last, 6, 7, 8 months. A lot of times it was more important, more interesting of a storyline than what was going on with either of the other two women's world titles, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it just felt like it was being wasted when that's a title that's supposed to elevate you. If you're already elevated, then what the hell is it doing? I don't know. Call me crazy. Anyway, let's see what happened in the match. Match starts. Sol Ruka is all over Becky early on, picks up a 2 count after a string of offense that ends with a backflip splash onto Becky. Becky fights back, clotheslining Sol over the ropes to the floor, but Sol dodges a punch from Becky while hanging upside down on the turnbuckle. Then hits a moonsault off of the top turnbuckle to Lynch on the floor. They roll back in the ring. Sol gets a couple 2 counts, but Becky gets back on offense after tripping Sol off the ropes in a springboard attack attempt. Then they start trading punches. They go back to the outside. Becky throws Sol into the barricade several times, then rolls her back in the ring, hits a leg drop off of the top turnbuckle, only gets a 2 count. Now they start trading uppercuts. More back and forth. Sol hits a missile drop kick and a running knee for a 2 count. Sol goes for the Soul Snatcher, but Becky dodges and gets on an armbar, which Sol reverses into a crossface. Then Becky tries to get the disarmor, but Sol turns it into a pin for 2. Jesus, I got to catch my breath after that. Multiple back and forth roll-up pins now, and Becky argues with the ref Jessica Carr. We know that their history is not so great over the past several weeks. Becky and Sol fight in the corner. Sol hits an X Factor on Becky from the top turnbuckle for 2. Sol hits a DDT. Becky hits a DDT, but Sol pops up out of it and super kicks Becky, and both women are down. I thought that was a cool spot, even though it was sort of like at first I was like, so she no-sold the DDT? No, she sold it because she went down, but she just had enough left in the tank, I guess, to throw a super kick and have it hit exactly where she wanted it to go. Sol nearly botches a flip to the outside on Becky. Then Becky hits a manhandle slam back in the ring for a 2 count. Becky attempts a Soul Snatcher, but Sol counters with the manhandle slam. Sol finally hits the Soul Snatcher on Becky for the 3 count fall. And new Women's Intercontinental Champion, Sol Ruka. So, Slick Vic, I thought this was a pretty good match, all things considered. There was a couple of rough spots. There was a very obvious near botch when Sol went for that thing to the outside on Becky that I mentioned. All things considered, though, I did dock the quality a little bit for that, but other than that, gave it a 6 gigawatts. Build gets a 1.5. Obviously, this has had a pretty decent build. Anything with Becky's been decent. She's proven that she can get fucking anything over. Quality got a 1.5. Memorable moments, 0. Emotion got a 1. And result got a 2. Total of 6. Slick Vic, your thoughts?
Well, she finally hit it. She got a pretty clean Soul Snatcher. But regardless of that, most of Sol's aerial offense is pretty smooth, or at least, at the very least, impressive looking. I like the spot where there was a spot where Sol was upside down on the ropes, and she did a sit up, and go while because Becky's about to slap her, and she does a sit up, and Becky slaps the turnbuckle, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yep.
Becky's heel work is still great. Soul's offense is new and cool. This was good. Becky even attempting a soul snatcher was kind of funny. Now, unless they want to build towards a Jessica Carr and Becky feud of some kind, I'm getting a little over this whole bickering. Why is she the referee in every single one of Becky's matches?
I think that's... Yeah, I mean, she's the referee because so they can have that moment. And like you said, unless it's building to something, why do it at all? I don't think it's building to anything. I don't think when has a referee ever just all of a sudden became a wrestler like that? Not that I remember ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that's going to go down. I see Becky moving on after this. I don't think she's going to go back for the IC title at this point. I think she needs to move on, and hopefully she will. But I love Sol Ruca. I mean, she's great. I love her character. I love her work. It's like you said, it's unique, it's cool, it's different. So hopefully she gets those kinks worked out, and we can get some good work out of her as champion. But I'm happy. I'm happy for that result, and I'm happy for her.
And speaking of Sol Ruca, who did I pick to win this match?
Becky Lynch.
Fucking bullshit!
All right, no,
I chose
you picked. Yeah. Vic's like, hold on, wait a minute.
You tried to cheat me.
You almost came through the drive-through window on me there. One match left. Clash in Italy, and Slick Vic is going to tell us all about it. The main event.
We got the main event, Jacob Fatu versus Roman Reigns for the WWE World title in Tribal Combat. So we got lots of playing to the crowd by Roman, and the crowd loves it. It's a street fight, so you know they're going to fight outside. Did you notice the very large staircases in the corners of the arena?
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of odd. It's like
I did too. It looks like a big chunk of the audience is missing. But at the same time,
yeah.
At the same time, you know, and I don't have a whole lot of experience. Like, I've been to Rupp Arena a few times, and I'm like, that's fucking awesome. Like, can you imagine going to an arena show where there's a concert, you know, whatever you're going, and having stairs that wide to actually get up and down instead of being all cramped and shit? I'm like, that's cool as hell. It makes it look like somebody just stole a big section of the audience, but I like that.
It was definitely a unique sight.
Yeah.
So they fight in the concession stand. Roman throws some stuff in the crowd, and Cole says, "Free food for everybody." Roman launches the steps at Jacob, which always looks vicious, and takes over for a bit. But Jacob comes back and locks in the Tongan death grip, but Roman escapes. A toolbox is introduced which Roman uses to damage Jacob's fingers to neutralize the Tongan death grip, at least for now. And then a beefy, spicy Slim Jim table set up in the corner. Roman spears Jacob through the barricade, which looked great because they ran over security. Did you catch that bit too? They ran over those the jabroni security guards. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Around this time, though, I felt like Roman wanted the crowd to boo him so he can like react to with his over the top expressions, but no, they weren't booing either man here. Anytime either of them was on offense, they were getting cheered. They had special cheers for each of them. Even Jacob Fatu had the whole, you know, ole 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 chant Fatu. And then they trade signature moves until Jacob gets speared through a table, and then another spear for the win. You know, this has kind of been a theme. Like, every match I felt was good, but not great. Maybe the Cody match was the weakest, but everything was just good, but not great. And that's how I felt about this one too. Post-match, the MFTs are watching Jacob from the crowd, but Jacob leaves with the bloodline, thus making me think they're gonna have another bloodline versus bloodline feud. But yeah, what did you think of Tribal Combat?
I didn't like the result. You know, but at the same time, I could see it going either way. So I'm not going to shit on it totally. I just think them beating Jacob twice in a row, him having to then supposedly acknowledge Roman Reigns, is they've neutered Jacob Fatu. They've neutered him here, right? Am I right?
Cole said that exact words. That werewolf has been neutered or something like that.
Did he say that? I thought he said neutralized. I didn't know he said neutered.
Did he say neutered? I swear I'll have to go back to confirm, but I'm pretty sure Cole said the werewolf has been neutered or something like that.
They've neutered him. They have neutered him. That's literally what's happened. You've got this guy who is a member of the family, but is so crazy and so wild and so dangerous, supposedly, that they don't want him there. He's too crazy. He's too unpredictable. He's too wild. Has been tamed by Roman Reigns. I would have rather had a different result, even if Roman had won still, and maybe won in a different fashion. I would have rather it went that way than to have it go down like this the way it went, because it's not good on Jacob, and it doesn't do anything for Roman to beat him in this manner. So, Slick Vic, I gave it a 4.5. 1.5 for build, 1.5 for quality, 0 memorable moments. Emotion got a half. Result got a 1. 4.5 gigawatts for tribal combat, which, by the way, I also am pissed off about the fact that they keep naming these hardcore matches random shit. You know what I'm saying? Tribal combat, street fight, no holds barred, anything goes, falls count anywhere. It's all the same shit. Call it a hardcore match, or call it something. Call it, there was nothing tribal about this, was there? Was there a fucking bonfire going on somewhere that they could throw each other into? Was there an island? Was there sand that they could pick up and throw in each other's face? A palm tree that they could smack each other in the mouth with? No. There was nothing tribal whatsoever about this.
The Ulafala.
That's right. Well, yes, the Ulafala, the tribal chief, was on the line, but I think that it should have been a little bit more themed. You know what I'm saying? There should have been something here. Maybe they have the family come out and sit in, and watch it around the ring or something. Just something. It was a street fight for the title with also the title of tribal chief on the line.
They did say Jacob's family was there, but I don't know if they ever cut to them.
I don't think they did.
Yeah, because I do know that Jacob said, "Yeah, I lost in front of my family," or something like that the following night on Raw.
Yeah. I mean, and last week on Raw, they talked about having a blood oath where Jacob wouldn't touch Roman until they got to their match at Clash in Italy. When did that happen? Where was the blood oath? What? That was what? We didn't see that.
Excellent. That would have been excellent television to see him just,
cut their wrists and
what do they call it?
Or maybe
red. Get some of that red viscous fluid.
Maybe where they, what would have been great? You know how on Raw last week they shook hands and they put their heads together? Maybe before they put their heads together, they bladed, and then they did.
Just start bleeding on each other, like
yeah. You just blade their head where it's pro wrestling. That would have been great, but no. So where does this go? I don't know. Is this Is this truly Bloodline 2.0? Maybe. They're going back to the well. Hey, the crowd is crazy for it still. Crowd's hot. So, I don't know. I'm just not totally sold on it. Slick Vic, who'd you pick for this one?
Roman Reigns.
The tribal chief Roman Reigns, and reign he did. Slick Vic, that was Clash in Italy 2026. Our next PLE is going to be Night of Champions here in about, almost 4 weeks from now, I think it was. And that is where we are going to find out who now will be the new king and queen of the ring. We'll talk about that momentarily. We talked about it a little bit there on SmackDown, but now we're going to talk about it on Raw. Raw was on June the 1st, 2026, and they were in Turin, Italy again. It looks like they didn't have to go very far. They didn't have to go far at all. They didn't have to go anywhere, actually. They were in the same exact building with the same exact set. And, yeah, so cost effective, I guess. Slick Vic, I just want to preface this. My notes are very slim for Monday Night Raw. I don't know if I fell asleep, if I missed something. I know there's a couple of backstage segments that happened during Raw that I didn't notate. There was the Judgment Day segment backstage that I didn't think there was anything important about. Liv Morgan apparently doesn't give a shit about Roxanne Perez losing the qualifier match that we'll talk about here in a moment. And there was there was a backstage segment with LA Knight that was fucking hilarious. I didn't notate anything about that either. But he cut a great backstage promo with Nick Aldis, where he talked about the Oofalafa again. And it was good shit, man. I wish I had wrote some of his stuff down, but go watch it. That's a good one. Anyway, let's try to keep this in order a little bit. Roman Reigns and the Usos open the show, call out Jacob Fatu. Jacob comes to the ring and acknowledges Roman Reigns. So, Jacob comes out with his tail tucked between his legs and falls in line, long story short. Up next, I have a match. This is a King of the Ring semifinal qualifier, so I thought it was going to be like one-on-one and then somebody advances and then so on and so forth. Nah, these are four-way matches. Oba Femi versus Penta versus Solo Sikoa versus Carmelo Hayes. And guess who won? So the thing I liked about this match was that Carmelo and Penta had a very solid little exchange while Oba was preoccupied with Solo on the outside for a moment. Thought it was great exchange by them two. Then Oba gets taken out, I believe, by Tala Tonga, and the other three fight in the middle of the ring for a while. But eventually, Oba comes back, destroys everyone. So he takes out Tala, he takes out everyone in the ring, and then he hits the fall from grace on Solo to win the match. So, expected result, but I'm glad it wasn't just Oba squashing everyone real quick. We got a good match out of the others mixing it up. I thought this was produced very, very well, I thought. After that, we get a rah-rah speech from Sol Ruka. That's all I noted, so I guess nothing else came out of that. Slick Vic, you can correct me if I'm wrong. And then we had another match. Yeah.
How did you not write down when she said, "Your soul is mine"?
I must have missed it.
All I had was like Soul. Yeah, Soul says, she's a fighting champion, but if you go against her, your soul is mine. She literally said that.
All right, thank you, Slick Vic. I think what it was is, anytime that somebody comes out for a rah-rah speech, it gets interrupted. Something happens. They're not out there just to say, "Oh, I'm so happy to be champion" or whatever. And yeah. I saw that it was going nowhere, and I just tuned it out. So yeah, fuck. Damn it. All right. All right, then we have Rusev and Ethan Page versus Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee in a tag team match, which was a pretty decent match. Rusev and Ethan Page controlled most of it, but Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee ended up winning. All right, Slick Vic, I want to get your thoughts on Raw so far, and again, I'm feeling kind of weird because my notes are so thin here. I think what happened is, at the end of Raw, they showed that Noche de los Grandes match, and I think that was actually kind of part of the time slot of Raw, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so good. Your thoughts so far?
Well, Roman is still super over, and he was milking the crowd, and then I love when Jey Uso says it's Jacob's first day on the job and he's late.
Yeah.
But I swear to God, I kept thinking Jacob's gonna attack him. Because he even said, like, he acknowledges Roman Reigns, but he wants to beat the shit out of Jey Uso or something like that. So
He
I
said
kept
that
thinking somebody,
he made some kind of comment, where he's like, the Usos never beat me.
yeah.
So
So I was hoping somebody would get super kicked, but nah, it didn't happen. That first fatal 4-way though, fantastic. Oba was a beast, and that face off he had with Tala was good, and Penta and Mello had some great stuff in the ring. You mentioned that too. The stuff between all three of them in the ring while Oba was outside was good, and Oba's comeback looked great. Now, Sol Ruka's a fighting champion. If you go against her, your soul is mine.
your soul.
The tag team match. Great heel work by Ethan Page. There's that one part where the crowd was really hyped for that tag to Rey Mysterio, and he just like runs around and like grabs his leg. Good old school,
Yeah.
good old school heat. And also the way they isolated Dragon from Rey was good stuff too. Decent match. Rey still can go, and Ethan is on the rise, so good stuff there. And then I don't remember the promo, but I mean I do remember bits of it. But that promo between L.A. Knight and Adam Pearce was good stuff.
Yeah. He was, that promo, I didn't put it in my notes. I didn't think it was that important, but he was basically, he was bitching
Almost like
because he's like, you give Roman Reigns all this special treatment and I don't get nothing and all this stuff. He's like, what do you got for me? What do do I have to go out and get a Oofalafa and all that? He was just bitching. This has been an ongoing thing where they have LA Knight bitching in the back for the last several weeks, and it's old, and it sucks because I really like LA Knight and I want to see him do something else, but it is what it is. We get what we get. Excuse me, Sleek Vic. Up next, we have a Queen of the Ring semifinal qualifier. Io Sky versus Julia versus Lash Legend versus Roxanne Perez. As I mentioned earlier, Roxanne did not win this one. I was really rooting for Julia. She's my girl. Her hair looks great. Her hair looked great before, but now it's completely different. Now it's just straight like blonde. But man, she looks good. And I was really rooting for her here. I thought they're going to put her over in this match. She's not going to win the tournament, but they're going to put her over in this match. Not only did they not put her over, but she took the pinfall from Io fucking Sky. Wow. So exciting, right? Give somebody else a fucking chance for a change here. Io Sky goes over in this match, and it's like, come on. That's all I got for us, Slick Vic. I'm sorry. I was pissed.
No, I hear you. I was surprised Julia didn't win either because she is part Italian, if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking at it right here on Wikipedia. Yeah.
Yeah, she's Italian and Japanese.
Yeah, and they gave Axiom the hometown hero treatment, and he's on TV less than Julia.
It's such bullshit. And
they could have at least, because you don't have to have Julia win the whole tournament. This is only the first round of the bracket, so she could have had this match, had a good feel good moment for her friends and family in Italy, but it was not meant to be.
That's what leads me to believe you said you picked JC Jane to win this one. I think Io Sky's going to win it. Because why do you have Io Sky win this match? Like, JC Jane is not involved in this match, okay? So if she's the winner, then it doesn't really matter who wins in this match. Why not have Julie go over in her hometown, get the big pop, all that, jazz? But they don't. They have Io Sky win. And not only that, but they make Julia take the pin. Like, what the fuck did they have against Julia? What, she crushed Rhea Ripley's face 2 months ago? Are they still hating on her because of that? I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but it pisses me off because, Io Sky is Io Sky. I've gave her props in the past, but if you put her up against Julia, fuck Io Sky. So after this, we have a match. I got to move on because I'm getting hot. Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker. Okay. So, They basically fought for a while. And then Breaker, towards the end of the match, that's when I actually started taking match notes. Towards the end of the match, Breaker runs around the ring to spear Seth Rollins, but Rollins dodges it, and he drills Heyman through the barricade. And Heyman lays there like a fucking beached whale, just dead. Back in the ring, Breaker hits Rollins with a spear, but Rollins had the tag title belt around his waist, so Breaker ends up knocking himself out. That's some classic WCW Goldberg spear and Bret Hart when he had the metal plate under.
Good reference.
After this, Rollins follows up with a stomp and picks up the win, so your winner, Seth Rollins. And then after this match, we get a replay of, thank God, we get a replay of the Mask versus Mask match from Noche de los Grandes. For all of the people out there that didn't get to watch it or didn't tune in, fantastic. We talked it up before. Man, it was something special. It's just something so special to go back and watch. You can, well, we talked about that already. I won't spend any more time on it, Slick Vic. But that was Monday Night Raw. Your thoughts?
You know, did you? I don't know if you caught this. The crowd was singing "Who Let the Dogs Out."
I didn't. No.
Because of Braun Breaker, they were going, "Who let the dogs out?" Woof 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 woof. Anyways, I felt the same thing about their last match. It was a Saturday night's main event. This match is just too long. There was some good stuff like the springboard swanton and the Falcon Arrow exchange, but the pedigree through the table and then the pedigree in the ring, the kick out I was like, okay, enough of this already. And it took a couple spears before Rollins finally went down too. I don't know. I just felt a little overbooked, and it didn't need to be that long. So I was checked out by that point. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. So like I said, thank God that they ended with the Mask versus Mask. I don't know if we actually talked about this earlier, but as far as the Mask versus match goes, both guys got busted open, I think, hard way. They both, well, as far as the match goes, OG El Grande controlled most of the first of the match. He ends up ripping part of El Grande's mask and then punching him in the face, busting him open. Not too bad. But then the other half of the match, it's like El Grande returns the favor by ripping his mask and punching him, and OG is bleeding like a stuck pig all over the place. Yeah. By the way, El Grande Americano, the new El Grande Americano, goes over. He wins. He does like a flying headbutt. He hits the ropes twice, and then he does a big headbutt. And OG is unmasked as Shad Gable, which everybody already knew, but now it's official. He's like, my name's Shad Gable, blah, blah, blah. And I'll be back in AAA eventually. But that was that match. And I couldn't agree more. Overbooked on the main event of Raw. It was just too long. And who cares? There's nothing, especially when they put on this, like, if you've never watched AAA, which I haven't, I've never watched a full episode of AAA, you give me that match at the end of Monday Night Raw, and I say, what the fuck is wrong with Monday Night Raw? That's my first thought. How is this that it's in a country I don't know, it's with a language I don't know, it's with two characters that I've only seen on Raw and I don't give a shit about, and I'm invested. What the fuck is wrong with Monday Night Raw? They need to get their shit straight. Something needs to change, Slick Vic.
It's time to shake things up again.
It's all about the money. Remember that? McMahon giving away like $1,000 or $10,000 a week or whatever, and then the stage blew up on him?
Yes, I do. I remember the one time he called somebody, and instead of like the little tone for he's waiting for him to answer, it's never gonna give you up, never gonna let you. Vince McMahon got Rick rolled.
Yeah. Oh man,
Hello,
classic
who's this?
classics.
He would answer the phone in character like, "Who's this?"
Who the
And then
hell
they'd
is
like,
this?
then they'd reply back with, "Who's this?" He's like, "This is Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Are you watching Monday Night Raw? What's the magic word, or what's the secret word?"
God, how fucking good is that, man? It's been so long since I said. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that one now. Maybe we'll have a little retro review of that.
There was so much unintentional comedy. Like, Vince dialed the wrong number at one point. He's like, "Sorry, wrong
Yeah.
number." He has to put his glasses back on or something like that.
Wrong number, pal. Oh man. But yeah, that was Monday Night Raw, ladies and gentlemen. As exciting as it was, we must move on. And now we're going to take a look at the King and Queen of the Ring brackets real quick because we talked about it earlier. King and Queen of the Ring is going to culminate at Night of Champions. Night of Champions is, I believe, let me take a look at the calendar here, the 27th of June. So today's the 2nd. So 1, 2, 3 weeks and 4 days from now is the next PLE. So let's take a look at the brackets. We already know Penta, Femi, Sikoa, and Hayes. We know how that went. Sikoa advanced. And then we also know that... What was the other match? Let me find it here. Is it there? No, it's not there. Is it over here on this
Io
side?
Sky.
Yeah, Perez, Roxanne Perez, Io Sky, Julia, and Lash Legend, Io Sky advance. So that's the only matches that have taken place thus far. But if we take a look at the King of the Ring, the rest of them, the next Fatal 4-Way, I don't know what the next one's going to be, but Dom Mysterio, Braun Breaker, Trick Williams, and Damian Priest will be in one of those Fatal 4-Ways. Who do you got for that one, Slick Vic? Well, let's do some early predictions, and these are off the record. We won't make these official. Who do you think is going to win that one?
Between Dom, Breaker, Williams, and Priest?
Yeah.
I'm going with Breaker.
Interesting pick. So you think it's going to be Oba Femi taking on Braun Breaker to be in the finals? That's a hell of a match.
That'd be the semifinals, actually. I need to reevaluate that.
Yeah, the semifinals, yes.
Well, I need to reevaluate this because my prediction for this whole thing is Obafemi makes it to the finals, but he gets screwed by the Beast.
Lesnar.
That'll help speed up. That'll help set up their SummerSlam match. So I don't know. I actually, I take that back. This is tough because I don't see Breaker just losing. If he's going to lose to Femi, there's going to be some chicanery, some shenanigans. I'll tell you what they should do. They should have Dominic Mysterio take the W there, so he can have a fun little match with Obafemi.
There you go.
But man, all right, fuck it. I'm throwing Dominic Mysterio in there. Do you have a pick?
I was going to say Breaker.
You were going to say Breaker too?
I was going to say Breaker.
See, well, maybe they can still do that, but no, I don't think Brock is going to show up until Night of Champions, because I was thinking Breaker could win the whole thing, and we can finally have him in the world title picture again. But when I look at the other contest, you know what? No, fuck it. I'm gonna stick my original choice and then go Breaker.
Okay, yeah, good call. Because what if Breaker wins, then it's Femi versus Breaker, and that's when Brock interferes. And then Breaker beats Femi. Then Breaker's in the finals instead of Femi. I mean, it could happen either way. I mean, he could screw him out of the final. I don't see him screwing him out of the final, though. I think that he'll get involved before that. So,
okay.
Yeah, that would be my pick. Let's look at the other side of the brackets here. Seth Rollins, Javon Evans, Tala Tonga, and Ricky Saints. Who you got?
Let me think.
Well, let's look at the other ones too. Jey Uso, LA Knight, Royce Keys, and Finn Balor. Because you sort of have to look at the other side of the equation to kind of picture who would face who after these matches too. So
Yeah. See, I'm inclined to pick one of them. I'm inclined to pick a baby face. The other one, I'm inclined to pick a heel. So when I look at the first bracket, there's 2 baby faces, 2 heels between Rollins, Evans, Tonga, and Saints. And then I see Jey Uso, that's a heel. LA Knight's a babyface. Royce Keys is a babyface, and Finn Balor's a babyface. Okay, man. That's tough, man. My crystal ball is not vibing to this right now.
you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna save this picture, and I'm gonna save the women's too, because I'm gonna go ahead and write down my picks, and we're gonna see how this goes. These are not official, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
But yes, I'm gonna write them down.
I'll tell you, I'll pick some winners right here, right now. All right. I am gonna say Javon Evans steals a victory here. And then I'm going to say Jey Uso wins the next one.
Okay. For some reason this is fucking okay. This isn't working at all. So Javon Evans, you think Javon Evans is going to go over? That's a good call, because with the other guys, it's almost expected for Rollins to win or maybe Tonga to win. I think the underdogs here are clearly Evans and Saints. So to pick one of the underdogs, good. And who'd you have in the other one? LA Knight?
Jey Uso.
Oh, Jey Uso. Okay. I'm going to say, I'm going to say that Seth Rollins will win between him, Evans, Tonga, and Saints. And I'm going to say LA Knight will win between him, Jey Uso, Royce Keys, and Finn Balor.
So you said you got Seth Rollins and who?
Seth Rollins and LA Knight.
Okay. All right.
And then from there, that's your semifinals. Obviously, Femi's already advanced. I think I picked Breaker. I'm going to say Breaker advances, beating Femi by way of Brock Lesnar interference. So Breaker in the finals versus Rollins in the finals. We'll go over LA Knight. And then you have Breaker versus Rollins, which is a feud.
Another match between those two. Oh,
another match between those two. That's what and Breaker goes over. Breaker wins the whole thing. That's my pick.
Okay.
I know I'm picking some obvious choices here, or maybe favorite choices or whatever, but I don't know. I think that's how it's going to go. I kind of hope I'm wrong. I always hope I'm wrong, because I like to be surprised. But to me, this is sort of the obvious path. Some people would say Obafemi is the obvious path, but I don't think so.
Well, geez, I guess I gotta stick with this between Uso and Javon. I'm gonna have to pick Uso to go over that one. We got finals. We got Breaker and Uso. That doesn't seem right.
Right? Yeah, that's pretty uneven, isn't it?
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll come back to this, man.
We'll come back to this. Again, this is not official. We're just talking through this. Yeah. Okay, let's take a look at the Queen of the Ring tournament. We already talked about Roxanne Perez, Io Sky, Julian Legend. We already know how that ended. That was bullshit. Io Sky won. So, the rest of the card, if we go over here to the left side, Liv Morgan, who was surprised to find that she was in this tournament at all, Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss, Chelsea Green is one of the Fatal 4-Ways. Another one is Sol Ruka, Lyra Valkyria, Charlotte Flair, Jade Cargill, and the remaining is Bayley, Raquel Rodriguez, JC Jane, and who is that down there?
Kiana James.
Kiana James, yes. Okay. I couldn't hardly read the name. And that's it. Slick Vic. All right, let's take a look at this. Who do you think's going over?
Okay, this is a lot easier because I should have done this for the men. And
You already picked your winner.
I already picked my winner, so it's just a matter of going backwards now. So obviously in the bottom right bracket, JC Jane's going over, and then she will go over Io Sky. But let's go on the left side. Between the first match, Morgan, Lynch, Bliss, Green, Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green goes over. And then between Sol Ruka, Lyra Valkyria, Charlotte Flair, and Jade Cargill, I am going to go with Jade Cargill.
Ooh, okay. Interesting.
The reason I say that, we got Chelsea Green and Jade Cargill. What's going to happen? The same thing that happened last week, where Jade Cargill's got her backup dancers, her cronies. They're going to interfere, but who then makes the save for Chelsea Green? Tiffany Stratton. Chelsea goes over. Chelsea in the finals against JC Jane. Again, both women have their people in their corner. But I'm going to predict JC Jane gets the W there.
All right. Good shit, pal. I'm going to hit you with something completely different.
Hit me.
All right. And you had good shit, pal, but I'm going to hit you with something completely different to think about. So here's what I'm thinking. Morgan, Lynch, Bliss, and Green. You picked Green. I think that's a great pick, honestly. But I have to say that is going to go to Becky Lynch.
Okay.
Sol Ruka, Lyra Valkyria, Charlotte Flair, Jade Cargill. Sol Ruka is going to win that one. That's going to set up Becky Lynch versus Sol Ruka, which is a rematch. Not for the title, not for the Intercontinental title, but this time for the Queen of the Ring. In that case, you're going to have Becky Lynch go over. I don't know how, but we get the rematch of Becky Lynch and Sol Ruka without the IC title involved, because it doesn't need to be. There's probably going to be some shenanigans or some questionable result here, but Becky Lynch goes over, makes it to the finals. We already know Io Sky is advanced to the semifinals. So we got Bayley, Raquel, JC Jane, Kiana James. I don't really think it matters who wins that match. But let's say Bayley wins for fun. So I'll pick Bayley. And then I'll pick Bayley to go over Io. Because then your finals is Becky Lynch versus Bayley. And those two women have sort of similar paths in getting to where they are. They've been in it for a while now. They're sort of trailblazers in the current women's division. So that sets up Becky Lynch and Bayley, and I picked Becky Lynch to win and become the new Queen of the Ring. That gets her out of the Intercontinental title picture, while at the same time giving her the rematch against Sol Ruka and letting her even win against Sol Ruka. But it gets her out of the Intercontinental title picture, and now She's Queen of the Ring. She's moving on to the world title picture. That's my picks.
Okay. All right. Who do you think she challenges? We didn't discuss this about the men either.
Who do would
Does
do?
it would between if Becky wins, she's going to have to challenge either Rhea Ripley
Yes.
or Liv Morgan, who's ironically in the tournament.
So, I've been vocal in the past about the brand split not mattering, but Becky Lynch is on Raw, correct?
Yes.
So, let's see. You got Liv Morgan and you got Rhea Ripley. The easy choice is Liv Morgan. Rhea Ripley isn't in this tournament. Liv Morgan is in the first round. And again, Becky Lynch is in the four-way match with Liv. So what does she do when she wins the entire tournament? She turns around and says, you know what? You were in the first match. I beat you then. I can beat you now. And she goes after the women's world title. Keeps it on Raw. That frees up the WWE Women's Championship to whatever it does on SmackDown. That way there's no interchanging between the two brands and you don't have to worry about leaving something out. But yeah, she goes against Liv Morgan, and I think she wins. I think Becky Lynch is your next women's world champion.
All right. Well, I on the other hand, have, like I said, I chose JC Jane to win it, and I predict she will challenge Rhea Ripley, and we'll have a new women's champion there as well.
I'd be all for that. I'd love to see that match. There's two completely different takes here at Wrestling with Power, talking about the Queen of the Ring tournament and the King of the Ring tournament. Slick Vic, we have just about reached the end of our rope here at Wrestling with Power. But before we depart, let's look to the past. Maybe there's maybe we have a link to the past, if you will. All right, that's for the crystal ball. My bad, but that's the only song I got. That's the only song I got. Let's take a look to the past. This week in wrestling history. What do you got there for Slick Vic?
All right. Back in the day, in 2014, we had the infamous breakup of the Shield. This is when Triple H had Plan B, which was to have Seth Rollins crack both Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns with chairs, and joining the Authority, whatever they were called at the time.
Yep.
So
the Authority. Yep.
Do you remember that? Do you remember the Shield breakup?
Yeah, absolutely.
Big
totally
moment.
out. Yeah, absolutely. I remember watching it live. I'll be honest with you. This was during a time where I was sort of like just coasting because, I'm a fan. So I'm going to watch every week no matter what, no matter if I like it or not. But I was never a big fan of the Shield. But it was a big moment, and it led to Seth Rollins being in the Authority and winning the WWE Championship eventually, and also winning the United States Championship. He held both at the same time. They had the statue made of him, and then Sting made his debut, and, now we're on to WrestleMania 31. So, yep, I was with it.
At the time, I remember not being the biggest fan either, but I was a big fan of the Shield, and those matches they had with Evolution and the Wyatts, good stuff. All right, let's go back. We got a couple of we got one more thing I want to cover here, and that's going back to 1980. Was it 1987? Greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, Honky Tonk Man, began his historic run, which held up until Gunther surpassed it in 2024.
Yep.
But the Honky Tonk Man beat Ricky the Dragon Steamboat in 1987 on this day to become the new Intercontinental Champion, and he held it for a then record of 454 days.
Damn. Gunther smashed
Just a
that.
honky, yeah, just a Honky Tonk Man. You know what's funny about this whole Honky Tonk Man run is he refused to do the job to Randy Savage, which resulted in Randy Savage becoming the world champion, the WWE heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
It's an interesting story. It's an interesting story. If you ever care to, do some research, look it up. It's Honky Tonk Man refused the job to Randy, and as a result, Randy ends up in the main event of WrestleMania, or winning that tournament of WrestleMania 4.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wait, but while this happened just moments ago, but Slick Vic, I got something for you.
Oh yeah!
There you go.
All right. Well, that's the gist of this day in wrestling history. There's a couple deaths I do not want to go over, and some TNA stuff, some New Japan stuff. But hey, that's not our forte. We're WWE guys.
I mean, we branch out from time to time, so I mean, it's okay.
Yeah.
We can talk about whatever. But Honky Tonk Man, I will circle back to this, is the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. Maybe. I think there's one other guy. A lot of people have held the Intercontinental Championship, and when I think of the Intercontinental Championship, I think of a lot of different people. I can easily, probably pull out a top 5. You got Honky Tonk, of course. You got Goldust. I think Goldust, because Goldust never won the world title. He was very popular. He won the Intercontinental belt. He made the strap gold, right? That was cool. You got Warrior, and the only reason I think of Warrior is because he won both belts back at WrestleMania. Who else is notable Intercontinental Champion? I don't even think. I think the point I'm getting to, Slick Vic, I don't even really think of Gunther anymore as being he was champion for 666 days. He had the longest reigning 666, the number of the beast. Well, what's the rest of the word?
Hell and fire was sworn to be released.
All right. But anyway, Gunther, all due respect to Gunther, I don't think of him when I think of the Intercontinental title. So he had a hell of a run with it, but I think that what he's done since then has overshadowed his Intercontinental title run. Who else you got, Slick Vic, when you think of Intercontinental champions?
Well, Razor Ramon is another one that comes to mind.
Yes.
Razor at the time was a 4-time holder, which I think was the record for a while. Later on, I'd even put Jericho there. Jericho, I think, has had the most runs with the IC title.
What do you have, like 7?
Maybe something like that. Jericho had a bunch. Right now. Jeff Jarrett had a handful of runs.
Yeah, I thought of Jeff Jarrett too. China,
yeah, for sure. The Miz, you can even say you can put the Miz up there if you want. It's later on down the line, but the Miz, I think, has also had many Intercontinental title runs.
The Miz did it, yeah. He as far as modern goes, for sure. I think would probably be the Miz as being one of the most well-known Intercontinental champions. So we've got on WWE.com championship holders over time. It's got championship holders 2020 to present. It's got longest reign. It's got shortest reign. But it doesn't give much of a breakdown other than that. Let's see. Chris Jericho holds the record for the most title reigns with 9. So I was off by a couple. I said 7.
9 times.
He is a 9 times Intercontinental Champion. I'm surprised neither one of us brought up Pat Patterson. First ever Intercontinental Champion. Yeah.
He won that tournament in Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah. That never happened.
I don't know if he... yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We got it right here. Patterson became the first champion, let me see, after defeating Ted DiBiase for the WWF North American Heavyweight Championship on June 19th, 1979, in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and Johnny Rodz in a Southern American Heavyweight Championship tournament final in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, subsequently unifying the North American Heavyweight Championship and the Southern American Heavyweight Championship to create the WWF Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. The new title was first mentioned on Championship Wrestling on August 22nd, which aired on August 25th in an interview after Patterson defeated Johnny Rivera. Okay, so that Rio de Janeiro thing never happened. And then we move on to, let's see, Ken Patera, Pedro Morales, Don Morocco, Pedro Morales, Don Morocco, Tito Santana, Greg Valentine, Tito Santana, Randy Savage, Ricky Steamboat. I think Steamboat is another one that, because of that WrestleMania 3 match, that was the great, that was the best match at WrestleMania 3.
And same with Randy Savage. That's another name we didn't talk about either.
Yeah, I know.
He was cutting those iconic, cup of coffee and the big time promos while he was Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Mr. Perfect, the Texas Tornado.
I was waiting for you. I was like, are we saving him for last?
Yeah. Texas Tornado. The only thing is that, like, some of these guys, like Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, went on to be world champions.
Well, yes.
And it overshadowed the fact that they were, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock. It overshadowed the fact that they were Intercontinental champions. And then you look back and, some people were Intercontinental champion, but, like, it didn't matter. Like Owen Hart. I don't remember when Owen Hart was Intercontinental champion. Mark Marrow, Ahmed Johnson. Who the fuck is Dean? Oh, Dean Douglas, Shane Douglas.
That's the shortest reigning Intercontinental champion, if I'm not mistaken. He was champion for like 30 minutes.
Val Venus.
Ladies.
Yeah. Have you seen the Kane thing from back in the day, where he comes through the curtain and he's like, it's Sean Morley.
Morley.
Yeah. He's like, Mr. Bischoff, and he goes on a rant, and he's like, "Who are you again? I'm Chief Morley. Oh, well, hello, Morley." That is not funny. Yeah, D'Lo Brown, Chyna, Chris Jericho, several times. Kurt Angle obviously won it. Benoit won it. Rikishi, Eddie Guerrero, a lot of these people, especially in the attitude going forward, sort of they did things beyond the Intercontinental title that overshadowed it. But I don't even know how we got off on this tangent here, Slick Vic.
Who started with Honky Tonk, man? He won the Intercontinental title on this day.
The greatest Intercontinental champion of all time. But
I'm still gonna say Mr. Perfect.
You know what? I can't disagree, because Mr. Perfect, he may have never actually made a good world champion, but as far as an Intercontinental champion, he really was perfect. Finally caught up. All right. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. We have given you everything we can possibly give you here tonight. We're going to hit the gong. And I got to get me an Intercontinental Championship. I really want one. And I really like the old style Intercontinental title, but I'm much more partial. It's sort of the same as like the Winged Eagle. I wasn't really a fan of the WWF when this belt was the main belt. But this is the best looking one, so that's the one I bought. But you know, I would love to have the Attitude Era belt. The only problem is I don't mind so much the WWE logo in the block style, but to see the WWE logo scratch style on the Attitude Era belt bothers me a little bit. Are you smelling what I'm stepping in, Slick Vic?
I do. I smell it.
So, yeah, I don't know. But I'd love to have an Intercontinental title replica belt. Slick Vic, if you could pick one replica belt to have, what would it be?
It's the one you got back there, man. That Winged Eagle.
With the white strap, though?
I would do the more traditional black strap, but
Here's the real question. Would you do, because they have two different versions of this. There's the all gold, and then there's the dual plated. You know, the dual plated has got like silver in some parts.
I do not know that. I'd rather go with the gold one.
Yeah, the golden for sure. That was like like beginning Attitude Era top. I'm gonna carry it like Dusty Rhodes, like Ric Flair, to carry it on an arm. Yeah. I really want that big gold with the red strap too. Big fan of that one. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's the show. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Slick Vic, Mr. Mosley here, wanting to wish you all the happiest of times. Hopefully you enjoyed this past week in wrestling. It's been a lot of wrestling. Like I said, Clash wasn't bad, Raw wasn't bad, SmackDown wasn't bad. But let me tell you something. You need to go back and watch that AAA main event, Mask versus Mask. It's something to behold. Environment is everything. I want to let you guys know. We are on Facebook, facebook.com/wrestlingwithpower, where we are live every Tuesday, unless otherwise noted. We're live right now on Facebook. We also put up all of our episodes on YouTube and Spotify, youtube.com/@wrestlingwithpower. On Spotify, just search up Wrestling with Power. I know as of this recording, I haven't put the last episode on Spotify. There was something going on with Spotify for creators, and it wouldn't let me upload it. But I will have it uploaded tonight. And I think that's it. Is that it, Slick Vic? Is that all we're on?
That is all, man. That is all.
That's it.
And before I let you all go, I want to wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
Absolutely. And stay powerful, everybody. And stay tuned.